The concept of guardians of time in Greek myth refers to figures believed to oversee, manipulate, or traverse time, analogous to the modern notion of chrononauts or time travelers. In the rich tapestry of Greek mythology, these beings may not be explicitly termed as time travelers, but certain myths and characters suggest an intricate relationship with the fabric of time, embodying roles that protect, control, or even transcend time. The significance of this concept within Greek myth lies in its exploration of the human understanding of time, destiny, and mortality, themes that resonate deeply within Greek cultural narratives. The idea of temporal guardianship reflects a desire to control fate and gain deeper insights into the human condition, which are central motifs in Greek storytelling. Time, in these myths, is not simply a relentless force, but something more fluid, offering possibilities for intervention and guardianship by divine or heroic figures. Specific examples from Greek mythology include the Fates, or Moirai, who spin, measure, and cut the threads of life, symbolically controlling human destiny and time. Another example is the Titan Kronos, whose very name is cognate with Kronos, meaning time. Though often seen as a destructive force, his myth involves the cyclical nature of time and the transition of power from one age to another, reflecting a primitive understanding of temporal cycles. Opinions that support the concept of temporal guardianship suggest that these myths provided ancient Greeks a framework to understand and perhaps influence their destinies. These myths could serve as allegories for human attempts to harness knowledge and power over the unknown, hinting at the psychological need to transcend daily temporal limitations. However, the idea of time manipulation invites controversy and challenges. Some scholars argue that the interpretation of these myths as relating to time travel or manipulation is anachronistic, suggesting that it imposes a modern reading onto ancient stories. They propose that these myths are more concerned with fate and the inevitability of time rather than the actual traversal or altering of it. This point connects to broader aspects of the main topic by illustrating how myths serve as early narratives for exploring complex themes like time, fate, and human agency. It influences the understanding of Greek myths as dynamic stories that engage with philosophical questions about existence and the universe, serving as a precursor to modern narratives around time travel and its guardians. Overall, the guardians of time concept in Greek myth highlights humanity's age-old fascination with and desire to transcend the limits of time. In the realm of Greek myth and legend, the concept of chronaughts, or time travelers, serves as a fascinating intersection of ancient imagination and speculative thought. The term chronaughts is derived from chronos, meaning time, and naut, akin to navigator or traveler, thus encapsulating the idea of individuals who traverse the temporal landscape. This concept, while not explicitly mentioned in classical Greek mythology, can be interpreted from various stories that suggest temporal manipulation or non-linear experiences of time. The notion is integral to the overarching topic of guardians of time, as it introduces a fantastical element where mythological beings might have influenced or protected the flow of time, adding a deeper layer to our understanding of these myths' themes and motives. Two significant examples illustrate this notion. Firstly, the story of the god Hermes, known as a cunning trickster and messenger of the gods, often engages with time through his rapid movements that defy typical human temporal constraints. His legendary speed might metaphorically suggest a bending or manipulation of time itself. Secondly, the tale of the Oracle at Delphi, where cryptic prophecies often appeared to transcend time by foretelling future events with uncanny accuracy, presents another angle on how Greek myths flirted with the idea of temporal sovereignty or foresight that resembles a form of time travel or influence. Supporters of this concept might argue that these stories signify humanity's timeless fascination with time's mysteries, reflecting a yearning to transcend the limits of human existence. However, challenges arise from the historical and cultural context of these myths. Critics may view the chronaut interpretation as an anachronistic overlay influenced by modern concepts of time travel, not as elements inherent to ancient beliefs. Additionally, the lack of explicit references to time travel in the original myths could mark it as a speculative, rather than definitive, thematic exploration. This exploration of chronaughts influences our understanding of Greek mythology by encouraging reinterpretation and modern dialogue about age-old stories, connecting modern science fiction with ancient narrative traditions. Moreover, it opens avenues for examining how temporal concepts not only shaped stories of gods and heroes, but also mirrored the ancient Greeks' contemplations of destiny, fate, and the human condition, thus enriching the broader discourse on mythological guardianship throughout the ages. By engaging with these narratives, audiences might gain a renewed appreciation for the intricate tapestries of myth that continue to resonate through varied interpretative lenses. The exploration of prominent figures and myths involving time travel delves into the fascinating idea of characters and narratives within Greek mythology that suggest elements of time travel or manipulation. This concept introduces the possibility that ancient Greeks might have contemplated the movement through or alteration of time, as suggested by stories involving gods, demigods, and mythical figures. Such interpretations enrich our understanding of Greek mythology, illustrating how these ancient cultures conceptualized time and existence. Within the context of guardians of time, alleged Chronauths in Greek myth and legend, this topic is significant because it highlights the creativity and imagination inherent in Greek storytelling. It suggests that myths are more than mere tales. They are philosophical explorations of complex concepts, like time, which was reflected in various legends. It also adds another layer to the mythological characters, portraying them as not just figures of power and morality, but as entities possibly dabbling in realms beyond human comprehension. One illustrative example is the tale of the god Kronos, often conflated with the Titan Kronos, who personifies time. While not time travelers in a literal modern sense, Kronos' manipulation and personification of time could be interpreted as a foundational myth surrounding time travel concepts. Similarly, the Oracle of Delphi, Pythia, provided prophecies that seem to transcend time, interpreting past, present, and future in a way that echoes the perception of time travel. Supporters argue that such myths show the depth of Greek understanding of time as not merely linear but cyclical, with potential for loops and manipulation. Some scholars suggest these stories reveal early philosophical musings on temporal paradoxes or the nature of cause and effect. However, potential challenges include interpreting these myths through a modern lens, which might overlook their original cultural and philosophical contexts. Critics may argue against anachronistically imposing contemporary ideas like time travel onto ancient myths, which risk distorting original narratives. Nonetheless, examining these myths as involving time travel can influence other discussions about the role of mythology in shaping human consciousness and its perennial curiosity regarding time. They provide insights into how cultures express universal questions and fears about the nature of existence. This exploration connects to broader themes of the main topic, engaging us with the timeless quest for understanding our place within the universe, influenced by the stories passed down through generations. Mechanisms of time manipulation in Greek legends refer to the various methods, devices, or divine interventions by which characters in myths appear to alter the progression of time. This concept is significant to the overarching topic of guardians of time, alleged Chronauths in Greek myth and legend, because it suggests that the Greeks, much like today's science fiction, entertained the idea of manipulating time, portraying humans or deities as time travelers or guardians of temporal continuity. These legends illuminate the ancient Greek worldview, exploring the boundaries between fate, predestination, and human agency. One prime example is the myth of the Oracle of Delphi. Although not a direct manipulation of time, the oracle's prophecies provided glimpses into the future, effectively bending the linear experience of time by blending past, present, and future. This represents a conceptual form of time manipulation, where knowledge of what is to come exposes people to the impact of future events on present decisions. Another example is the story of the sleeping Endymion. Endymion, beloved by the moon goddess Selene, is put into an eternal slumber, thus suspending his experience of time. Selene's love alters the natural course of Endymion's life, rendering him ageless and frozen in a moment as time continues to pass around him. This concept holds fascination, as supported by various scholars who see in these myths an innate human desire to control time, questioning the finality of fate and the possibility of altering destiny. It highlights the ancient curiosity about the elasticity of time and its governance by higher powers. However, this notion has its challenges and controversies. Skeptics argue that interpreting these myths as time manipulation reflects modern biases rather than ancient intentions. Critics suggest that these stories should be understood in their historical and cultural contexts rather than through the lens of contemporary science fiction. Moreover, the deterministic nature of Greek mythology, where outcomes are often preordained by fate, seems to conflict with the idea of time manipulation. Nevertheless, these episodic instances of temporal control in myths connect deeply with other aspects of the guardians of time, such as the role of fate and divine intervention in Greek storytelling. Understanding these mechanisms offers insights into how ancient Greeks perceived their relationship with time, fate, and the divine, enriching the narrative of alleged Chronauths as beings peering into, moving through, or influencing the sands of time. This interconnectedness underscores the complexity and intrigue of Greek myths, where time is both a linear path and a narrative tapestry woven by the gods.